Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Phil is going to join us in a little bit. And I would like to just read our motto for Motivational Monday, right? Our goal is to educate and empower anyone regardless of race, culture, ethnicity, or faith, struggling with an assortment of life adversities. We believe education enlightens dark paths, less traveled, and liberates a sense of hopelessness. We believe that the safety of transparency illuminates and activates the true meaning of caring, sharing, unveils, and emancipate wholeness. Our group sessions are designed to introduce our myths of informations, life topics that surround individuals, our families, communities, and nation. I assure you that Motivational Monday with Phyllis and Philia will continue to provide you guys with the highest standard and service and comfort of convenience. All right. Good night, Carrie. Good night. So that's our motto. So I'm just gonna say a little prayer. You know, I like to start off Motivational Monday with a little prayer. Hope everyone had a great weekend. What you do in private will determine how high you go in public. You don't get stronger by taking the easy way out. Your competence will not be the limit of how high you go. Your character will determine how high you go. Talents may take you somewhere, but character is what will keep you there. Father, thank you for allowing us this day, ordering our steps through your word. I pray that we get strength always to do the right thing. Thank you, Lord, for your beauty, your nature, and your mysteries, guidance, and protection. Most of all, you are never leaving our sides, even when we don't know where to go. Thank you for refining our character and taking us, Lord Jesus, to safety. In your name I pray, amen and amen. Hello, Anthony. Good night. All right, so if you were celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If you celebrated a birthday weekend gone, happy belated birthday. I want to say condolences going out to the D'Souza family in San Fernando on the passing of their daughter Antonia. But she was my friend, so, you know, may her soul rest in peace. Our word of today is Quandanek. Quandanek is a person who seeks to know all the latest news or gossip. Quandanek is a busybody. All right? So that's our word for today. And guys, I just want to read the health tip for this week. And I know a lot of y'all are reading the news, so I'm just going to read a little bit from Trinidad News. Port of Spain, July the 17th, the Ministry of Health wishes to inform the public that a third case of monkeypox virus was confirmed via laboratory testing earlier today. The patient is a young adult male with recent travel history. The relevant county medical officer of health is currently conducting an epidemiological investigation and has initiated the local public health response, which indicates home isolation and contact tracing for the patients. The ministry will continue to provide updates to the public as necessary. Once again, this is a bulletin coming out from the Ministry of Health for Trinidad and Tobago. And now we have Philia. Good night, Anne-Marie. Good night.
Good night, Emery. Good night. Once again,
yes,
everything from the bottom is all swimming and weirdness. No, actually, it was a little better this time. Oh my God.
Right.
So I'm swimming. It's getting a little. No, this time I'm not going to wet her couch like I did last time.
Okay, all right. Okay. So,
All right.
you want to give the health tip?
Yes. The health tip is asthma versus seasonal allergies. So I think this is so poignant to bring up because my son Noah, he's 12. Out of all my kids, he's the only one that suffers from asthma and seasonal allergies, which both sometimes can be interrelated and sometimes they can be separate. So I'm going to read this. Many of us experience allergy symptoms like a runny nose, itchy eyes, and nasal congestion when the seasons change. But for people living with asthma, seasonal allergies can cause more serious reactions. What are seasonal allergies? Seasonal allergies develop when the body's immune system overreacts to something in the environment. This usually happens during spring, summer, or fall when certain plants pollinate. In many areas of the U.S., spring allergies can begin as early as February, usually caused by tree pollen, and last until early summer when grass pollen is at its height. This may be followed soon after by fall allergies, typically brought on by ragweed. For some people, these substances trigger what is commonly known as hay fever, which is allergic rhinitis. Oh, like rhinoceros. Okay. Which causes itching, sneezing, and coughing, and leads many of us to seek medical advice to help manage these symptoms. So, what is asthma? Asthma is a chronic, long-term condition that affects the airways and the lungs. An asthma attack happens when a trigger causes the lungs to narrow and swell and may be associated with increased mucus production. This makes it hard for air to pass through the lungs and leads to wheezing, coughing, and difficulty breathing. There are several types of asthma, including allergic asthma, aspirin-induced asthma, cough variant asthma, exercise-induced asthma, nighttime asthma, steroid-resistant asthma, occupational asthma. Wow, this is really interesting.
Yes.
This is actually really good because my son just went to a pulmonologist and I'm now starting to understand how asthma can be related to so many different things. So that's really interesting.
Right.
Now, each type of asthma is triggered by a different substance or activity. Although there is no cure for asthma, it can be managed with certain medicines and lifestyle adjustments. For example, a person with exercise-induced asthma only experiences symptoms during or right after demanding physical activity. Their doctor may suggest taking a certain type of medicine before exercising or avoiding certain types of exercise. How are asthma and allergies connected? As its name suggests, allergic asthma is triggered by allergens. These allergens can include certain types of food, pet dander, or same substances that cause hay fever. An allergic response occurs when immune system proteins or antibodies mistakenly identify a harmless substance, such as tree pollen, as an invader. Now, these chemicals your body produces to fight or the threat lead to allergic symptoms. For some people, this same reaction also affects the lungs and airways, leading to asthma symptoms. People with a family or personal history of hay fever and allergies are at greater risk of developing allergic asthma. It is critical to tell your doctor if you experience wheezing or shortness of breath, as it could be a sign of asthma or another medical condition. Although both asthma and allergies can be frustrating, they also can be managed so you can get outside and enjoy the season. Okay, wow.
Yeah, so
really interesting.
Remember, guys, we are not doctors. We just reading from Google, and just giving everyone a little health tip as we go along, because with this season of allergy,
it's extremely important.
Yeah. Some people have it really, really bad.
It's really bad. It's interesting because Noah's paternal grandmother actually died from an asthma attack at a late age in her life. So it's really important to recognize these symptoms and also be able to decipher the difference between exhaustion, because like when Noah has when he is in gym or he has physical education, he immediately starts to do the asthma attack. And I'm like, okay, Noah, maybe you're just exhausted. Maybe you should learn to just take deep breaths, calm down, stop hyperventilating, because now you're bringing on some of these anxiety and symptoms, right? So it's also important to know that normal people are exhausted. It doesn't always mean an asthma attack. Asthma attack usually is followed by the coughing and the wheezing and the shortness of breath, not just shortness of breath. So that's also very important as well. But again, we're not doctors, and if you feel like you may experience some of these symptoms that we read, please see an allergist or a pulmonologist, because they will be the best people to tell you exactly what your condition is.
Yeah. So, guys, I just want to bring on my girlfriend Donata right now, and she has a brunch coming up on Sunday, and we want to give her the little airways so she can promote. So, one moment, please.
Donata, hi.
Hi, Donata. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Good night.
Good night, good night.
Good
Welcome to Motivational Monday, where each one teach one. Thank you for joining us. So, yes, take the floor and let us know what's going on. Let the people out there know the information and how they can get tickets and different things like that.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity. I genuinely appreciate it. I love when women are helping each other and just helping you to grow up, learn so much from you and your event. So it's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity to do this. Hi, everyone. Good night. My name is Donata, and myself and my very, very best friend, we're throwing an event called Brunching Around the World. And really quickly, the concept came from my love of brunches and wanting to give everybody an opportunity to enjoy a diverse brunching experience. So what that means is you're gonna come out. It's gonna be an all-inclusive event. Your drinks and your food is all-inclusive, and you're gonna have an opportunity to enjoy a diverse menu.
So let me ask you something, Donata. Brunching around the world, how did you come with the concept? And let us know, going around the world, I mean, it sounds very interesting.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I love brunches. I think it's a really good opportunity for people to get together and just have a good time, catch up. We're always so busy in this world. We have work, we have family, and everybody keeps, like last week, the week before, you was talking about self-care and remembering to take time for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with taking time for yourself with your girlfriends or your guy friends, your co-workers, getting a drink and just catching up, because we don't get to do it very often. So I wanted to take that whole brunch concept and make it around the world. For our first time, this is our very first time doing it.
Okay.
It's going to be most of a Caribbean type brunching around the region.
Okay.
So you're getting a little bit of your Trinidad.
Okay.
I'm going to say chicken curry because I want chicken curry versus curry chicken argument.
Yes.
I'm not going there. The Guyanese, we ain't going there.
Yes.
But no, guys, you're going to have your Trinidadian dishes. We have your curry crab and dumpling. You're going to get your pilari.
Right.
You're going to get and then we're going to go Guyanese as well. You're getting your pepper pot. You're getting your chow mein.
Wow.
We're not getting the Saint-Pasté crew, our Haitian family.
Yes.
You're getting your black rice, your pickles, your cremas, Haitian patties.
Yes.
We're going to take your grilled chicken
excited.
is going to be grilled right at the venue, fresh off the grill.
Right.
All right.
Nice.
Fish. Oh my God, Grenada, we didn't forget you. You're getting your oil down.
Nice.
All right. So
This is nice.
a little bit of
Everything.
the Caribbean region,
Nice.
giving everybody an opportunity to not just come out and have great conversation, but to have a diverse interaction with everyone.
Right.
We're all from different parts of the world. And it's always good to learn a little bit about people's culture.
Nice.
Because when you do that, it's a good conversation starter, but it also helps that you're not offending people and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to come out and just have an amazing time. It's going to be from 1 to 7.
Right.
St. Albans. Tickets are available via Eventbrite.
Right.
And for everybody on this live, because I love Miss Green, she knows that. Listen, I bother her all day, okay? She knows this already.
Yeah.
All her people, I want to do something really special. We're going to do a friends and family, because I know Miss Green is like my family.
Yes.
That's like my additional mother. That's my bonus mother when I go out, okay?
Yes.
But we're getting a friends and family discount, Golden Star. I'm going to pin it in the chat when
Okay,
I'm done, 'cause
great.
I want the live watch.
Yes.
And it's going to be, you're going to get your tickets. It's $80 for the ticket. It's going to be $65. It's going to be
Nice.
a nice little
Great.
discount.
Yeah.
We really want people to come out and just have an amazing time.
Yes.
And let's not forget, like I said, your drinks are going to be there. You're getting your Cape Cod. Yes, we named them drinks.
Yes.
We want to make it fancy. We want to touch an elegance with it.
Yes.
So you're getting your Cape Cod. You're getting your screwdrivers, rum punch, cremas.
Nice.
You're getting your sangria mix.
Okay.
So it's gonna be
Nice.
an amazing
It's going to be
time.
fun.
Yes.
It's
I'm
available for
excited.
It's gonna be so nice.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
Jason. Jason saying he need a ticket for $50. What happened to Jason? He wants you to give it away.
It sounds like fun. This is awesome. This is great.
So, guys, we want you to come out and
Please,
support another Sunday, God's willing.
Yes.
Again, the tickets is $80, but for our viewers today, you're going to get it for $65. It's an all-inclusive drink and food. Come out from 1 to 7, and we will be there supporting.
Yes, it's a steal.
Yes.
To get all of that, all of those flavors in one place.
Yes. So again, it's brunching around the world.
I love it.
And I love the concept of
Me
it,
too.
Donada. And we hope that this year it will be a first year and continuing on and on. Okay?
Yes.
So we will see you,
God willing, on
God
Sunday.
willing, on Sunday. I will see you tomorrow at work.
Yes.
But thank you again for
Thank
coming
you.
on and just letting everybody know. Again, where they can get tickets on Eventbrite. And then you will put in the code where they can get it for $65.
Thank you so much, ladies. I will be watching. Thank you for the help tonight.
And one more thing. Do you have any guest artists? You have a guest artist, please. Big him up.
We have Yankee Boy's going to come through. If you were at Miss Green's event, you know Yankee Boy.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
good.
I have his pepper sauce in the building. So on top of the food, you're getting his pepper sauce paired with the
Very
food.
good.
So that's
Nice.
going to be music by Golden Star. If you've been to any FNL event, they're going to be in the building. DJ Blue's going to be in the building. It's going to be amazing, guys.
All right, good. Thank you so much again for taking the time. Loving the
Thank you.
house.
I'm watching it. Thank you so much.
See you
Okay.
soon.
All right. Good night. Okay, guys.
That
So we
sounds
want
like
you to
fun.
go out on Sunday and please support my friend's event. Again, we support each other. We supporting who's supporting us. I want to say thank you for everybody that is locked on the live tonight. Wendy, Jason, Anthony, everybody. Again, if you're in the Queens area on Sunday, come on, we brunching
Albans.
from 1 to 7. All inclusive, you can't go wrong.
Nope.
That's the way how
Friends and family. Put double F when you put that payment in, so she knows it's us.
yeah, that's how we like it. All right. So, guys, tonight topic we have 3-part topic that we want to discuss
Really
tonight,
interesting.
right?
Yep.
So the first one, you can think about how you're gonna. I'm gonna give you a snapshot of the 3, and we're gonna go through one by one, right?
Okay.
So the first one is how can we communicate without cursing out each other? All right, and we can communicate differently. Okay.
All right.
Number 2, are you real with yourself or do you put up a front? Because sometimes we look at people and they put up a front and they don't keep it real.
Nope.
So we keep in that one.
Okay. I love that one.
And number 3, do you settle with your family and friends' behavior or do you call them out on it?
Okay.
All right?
I love all of them.
All right.
They're all controversial.
So, let's
Start
go.
with-
So, topic number 1, and we want to hear from you guys.
Please.
I'm going to repeat
We're
myself.
going to repeat and we're going to talk about that.
How can you communicate without cursing out each other? Oh. Well, sometimes.
You see how the voice got low?
Yeah.
You know that means there's a lot of trouble coming with that. Go ahead.
Sometimes we can speak one-on-one, but then sometimes when you need your point,
You got to get done.
get done, right? You have to use the little bad words at time, right?
little
Green, I do
nasty.
that well with you. Yes. Jason is saying Green, I do that well with you. So
Right.
I have different side of me in the sense that on my job we curse out sometimes because sometimes it's strenuous at times.
Right.
So we might say F-bomb. Or a word I use on my job and everybody laugh is como se llamo. When I get mad, it's be like como se llamo because the things I want to say,
Right.
I can't say it.
Right.
You
I
know?
like that.
Yeah. So I would say como se llamo and everybody
Everybody
just
know what
laugh.
that mean, right.
Because, I want to curse. I can't curse, but
Right.
that is just burst out como se llamo.
I like that. I like that.
Right?
That's nice.
So that is one way
Right.
I try not to use the F
F.
word,
Okay,
right?
okay.
On my regular friends, I don't really, we don't have that lingo.
Correct.
My circle, you don't curse,
No.
Colleen don't curse, Dane don't curse, Afia don't curse, so I'm not in the cursing circle, right?
You're Tim.
Yeah. So I am not in the cursing
Right.
circle. So
Right.
your experience, I not in the cursing circle.
Right. It's interesting. Yes, I think that certain people bring certain things
Out in you.
out of you for sure, right?
Yes.
Because I do think depending on the circle of friends, you have friends who curse a lot, you're gonna start dropping them F-bombs because it just seems like you're a ham if you don't do it. Like, you're kind of a square. It's like, what's wrong with you? You don't curse. Like, live a little. Like, like enjoy your life. But I do think that there's always a time and place. Like, for instance, people who on the job, like cops and people who work in the mail room, and there's just certain language that goes on, locker room language that goes on, that it's understandable. It doesn't mean that you're going to use it when you're in front of parents or elders or things of that sort. So I think that it's important to, we call it code switch, right? The same way you will break out in your lingo of your patois and your broken English and the way you talk is the same way you can do it with cursing. Like, I feel like when I met Quan curses a lot.
Right.
And then I started cursing a lot. And I'm like, I'm cursing for every little sentence. I got to use the F word. And I'm like, you make me curse a lot. He said, I can't make you do anything. He said, I force you to curse. I put a gun to your head. I was like, I just find that every single sentence I'm saying something. So I said, you know what? I have to make a concerted effort to rein it back because sometimes it's not even necessary to use it, and I'm using it anyway.
Yeah.
And then what makes me realize it is that I see people shifting when I'm saying things. So I'll be speaking regular, and I'm like, yeah, the F and this and the F and that and that. And I see people like, yeah, so, when we acquire I said, no. I can't use F in this place. This is getting weird. And I had to catch myself a couple of times at work because I found that I was doing it at work for no reason. And I was like, so I think that, like I said, some people bring it out of you differently. But
so Anthony is saying, well, you talk with someone, but if you don't agree, you get upset, and then the cussing start. Then the cussing start. But that's his opinion.
That's his opinion. Okay. Anthony, is this true?
And Terry saying cussing is not really my thing, but sometimes if you push it, Phyllis only on work. Dana saying Phyllis only on work, laughing out loud. Dane, whenever. Dane don't curse. What? I hardly really curse. I'm trying to check myself too. Wendy in Trinidad, we call it construction language, laughing out loud.
Right.
June say, oh gosh, I just cuss. Then say, I try hard on work, but it comes out. Yes. Nicola saying, for me, you have to take me there. June saying, however, if I am in an argument, I don't like to curse. Yes, I would say that. But sometimes, June, people just drive you there.
Right.
But I try hard not to do it. And sometimes, like, I would tell them, like, if I get angry and work, because my work, if you guys don't know, sometimes it can be stressful. It can be stressful, especially if we having, like, thunderstorms, or we have snow and all these planes have to come back, or if the ramp close, and you have planes at the gate, and then planes arriving, you can't park them. So, sometimes it's stressful. So then... And then sometimes people call and answer the same thing over and over and over. And sometimes it could be overwhelming. And then sometimes you curse.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
But other than that, we really don't like to use curse words.
Right.
But
Como se llamo?
Yeah, that is what I just say.
I love that.
And my friends is laugh over
yes,
because
me,
como se llamo, I want to say ya.
Bien, mami, bien.
Yeah. Right?
I just respond back in Spanish. But my whole thing, sugar, honey, iced tea. That's good because it's just the acronym for the other one.
And like somebody say, like somebody just use like F-bomb.
F-bomb or freaking.
No, yeah.
Right,
or frig. I just say frig.
Right.
Close the front door.
Right, close the front door. Shut the front door.
Or something like that, right? Junior saying, it's a matter of self-control also. I discuss general, not really at anymore.
Right.
So again, I think it's a lot to do with your environment.
Yeah, environment.
Because
Definitely.
people who go and gamble, they curse.
Of course.
People
it goes
who,
with the drinking and the
yeah,
smoking.
people who go to games,
Mhm.
they're like, get the effing ball,
Right.
this, that, the
Right.
other. So it could be like
It's the environmental.
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
environment.
Right.
So we want to say 5 proven steps to communicate without fighting, or So how do we stop fighting and being communicating? You need to reactivate that part of your brain by calming down and physically defense response that you are having. Easier said than done, right? Either say come from 1 to 10, 2, or take a walk and come back, because sometimes you don't want to say the wrong things.
Correct.
Right, guys? Getting there takes time and hard work, but when you practice these communication exercise as a couple or with your friend, you can start to see progress, reach a point where you can talk to your partner or your family or
Right.
whatever relationship problem you are fighting about. Learn what you need, learn what your needs are first.
Right.
First, make sure you fully understand what
Correct.
you need.
I was gonna say,
right?
seek first
to
to understand.
get out your argument.
Yes.
Learning what works best for you in critical and
Correct.
being able to come back to baseline where the logical part of your brain is back online.
Very good.
Right?
That's very important.
There are plenty that could be listening to music, taking a short walk, calling a friend, or playing with your dog. The right answer look different for everyone. But it's important to keep this in mind. Each time you get into a circle of fighting, let the storm pass.
Yes, it will pass.
Yes.
This
In the
too shall
heat of
pass.
the moment, it can be tempting to
Right.
try to fix everything straight
Right.
away. Unfortunately, though, during or immediate after an argument is actually one of the worst time to do it. Sometimes you need time to think.
Right. So let me give you a quick example before you move on, right?
Yeah.
Because one thing, like when I think just recently, Quan and I had this discussion, right? When he's saying something and I don't respond, he's like, "Oh, then it must be true because you didn't say anything to object to it." I said, "No, I'm just processing because I feel like sometimes you don't want to say the wrong things. You don't want to act out of anger. You know that at the time your mouth is quick because that's your defense mechanism. Like how you coming at me, I'm gonna come back at you.
Right.
But you have to realize that people always say sticks and stones may break my bones. Words won't ever hurt me. They do hurt, right?
Right.
So it's really important. I don't know why that dumb song. Why we said it when we were younger. We need to change that lyric because words do hurt. But I think it's also important because you also can't take them back, right?
Right.
So sometimes I say, okay, I'm just processing this. I'm thinking about what you said because I want to make sure that whatever I say, it's well thought out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to react based on emotion, right? And I said, you have to also learn patience, that if someone doesn't respond immediately, it doesn't mean that they don't care or they're not listening or that they're nonchalant. It just means sometimes everyone has a way that they
Mechanism.
react differently,
Yes.
right? So that's why I think that whole thing with the breather and counting and stuff, that's really important. Always, they say, seek first to understand, then
Right.
to be understood. Because once you understand what's happening, then you can respond in the right manner.
What works for me is silent treatment. I don't talk at all.
Got you.
I rather ignore you.
Completely ignore.
Because
Now, ignore. Are you ignoring physically and blocking out?
I'm
or
blocking
you
out
just
everything.
don't? Okay.
You're isolated for me. I'm not speaking. Leave me alone until I'm ready to talk, because that way I'm cooling down myself.
Got you.
You understand? That don't mean, because the back and forth is going to get bad.
Now, do you tell the person that that's what you're doing?
Right now, I would say I'm not feeling to speak to you right now.
Okay, because it would be different if you physically just gave the silent treatment.
Well, sometimes I get it. It depends on my mood or
Okay.
depends on the situation.
So I think what would be fair for you going forward, because I guess you have to think about how you're acting towards the person. You don't want to be bothered. They want to be bothered.
Right.
So how do you circumvent that?
Well, as I say, in the time of the heated argument, I just don't want no talking.
Gotcha.
I rather just stay quiet
Right.
and silent treatment.
Now, in doing that, because I know I used to do that, but what used to happen is that I have a seething temper. So I hold all this stuff in.
Oh, no.
I hold it.
I ain't holding
hold
nothing.
It, I hold it, and then the
When I'm
one
ready
little
to-
thing you do,
Yeah.
woo!
No, well,
Everything coming down.
No, well,
So-
for me, I try to avoid the conflict, if you understand. So I prefer
Okay.
not to say nothing
Okay.
and let it die of natural causes, because I'm not one to bring back up things from yesterday. So for me,
That's good.
I just if I disagree or I'm not thing or I say my part, that's it. I have nothing else to say. I'm not going to fight back and forth, curse back and forth, wasted energy.
Okay.
For me.
So question. How does that help the person who needs the back and forth?
Well, they will have to take it to the Lord in prayer.
So what do you do to help them?
They have to help themselves and realize. I mean, only when I calm down, if you ask me,
then you'll give advice.
I will give advice. But if you don't ask me, then silent treatment. There's nothing to discuss.
Okay.
But if you're interested in knowing, sure, I will tell you.
Now, are you in a sound mind at the time when they
very sound mind?
Okay, so you're not still angry. Now, do you hold on to anger?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't hold on to anger and
Please tell me if these are really good questions, because I'm thinking about myself in this and I'm like, is this fair or not fair? Because sometimes we do things to soothe ourselves, but we're really not thinking of the other person. So I'm asking
every
questions.
action is a reaction, you know.
Correct. It's opposite and
so
equal.
Something must react for you to lash out.
So I do agree that it takes two to tango.
Right.
So if you're not tangling or entanglements, then nothing is happening. However, the other person still feels a void, and that's what causes some other kind of issues. So my whole thing is,
I think when you reach to adulthood,
right,
and you are in a relationship with this person should know who you are. Firstly, right?
Okay.
Secondly, in order for us to have this disagreement, there is something why we have to have this disagreement.
Correct.
It could be mistrust. It could be lying and you
Very
get
good.
caught. It could be something that happened that triggers you. That to know that it bring back a snapshot in your mind. You understand? And you just decide, you know what, this ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
Correct.
So in my case, I prefer just not to say anything, and I say what I say, water under the bridge, and I done. I am not going tomorrow to say, Philia, you know, you do me this, that, the other. I'm not on all of that. Life is too short.
And when is water under the bridge, for real, is water for you under the bridge? Or it doesn't come up and creep up?
No, well, you know what? I'm a kind of person like this. I tell you as it is. Whether you like it or not, that's your... You have to deal with it. I tell you how I feel. Look,
and it's off your chest and it doesn't bother you.
This hurt me. I don't like how you do X, Y, and Z. Or I may know something and not tell you. You understand? But not hold on to it.
Okay.
And just watch your actions. You with me what I'm saying?
Okay. So question with that. And I'm sorry with all the interrogation.
That's all right.
Okay. Now, if something is bothering you, do you always say it, or only if you think it's going to be a problem?
Sometimes I don't say it. I just watch.
Okay.
You know, I learn to watch and don't say nothing.
Right. Okay, but if you see that it's becoming a posing problem,
a habit.
You're like, okay, I need to point something out.
Yeah,
because this is going to
X, Y, and Z. Or listen to you, because a liar has no memory. Eh?
Right.
You must listen to people. If they tell you something and they come back again and they'll say, wow, but they forget to tell me X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Oh, so you put that in the back now in your head and you watch people.
Correct.
You watch them. You doesn't say nothing, you will get your opportunity.
Right.
You know, it's not like you're hunting for them, you know.
Which leads us to that third question later.
Okay.
So we'll save that.
Right.
Okay,
wait, hold on. Let me read something.
Great answers, by the way.
Yeah. All right. Donada is saying, when our peace is jeopardized, we sometimes get out of character.
I think of chess when you say that. That's nice. When you think of your man being jeopardized or vulnerable.
Right.
Right? That's how it gets you out of character. You start making erratic moves. Very nice.
June say, I stay quiet for days. June like me. Right? Yep. If they only talking and I can't speak, I'm not saying a word. That's me too. Because you have the know-it-all.
Did you guys get that from your mother?
Well, I never see my mom and my dad argue.
Good.
But during my life experiences, I just learned to ignore people. I can ignore people very good, and it don't bother me.
Okay, that's good. You need to take that on, because I take everything serious.
No. I think it's a technique. Is this in the sense that you could don't like me, and we in a room, and I don't know you existing, and I going about my business.
Got you.
That's just me.
Right.
Nothing ain't going to faze me at the end of the day, because here why they say, you're not paying my bills, so why should I worry what you say or what you think of me? I am me, I'm it, and that's it. That's all that matters, that I'm it. I'm the it factor. You are not.
I love the fact that you think like this. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think Because I'm always concerned about what the other person is
Oh,
thinking.
no, Philia. You're
What?
50 now. You cannot.
I can't, no, I mean, but maybe not now, but 48 years before.
Yeah, no. And I think,
Like,
too,
oh,
you know.
I hope they don't think that I'm this, and I hope they don't think it's
No,
like
no.
that.
I never had that because I guess.
It's too much. Like,
Again, from my mother.
struggle.
My mother had 14 of us, you know. You think my mother really had time for all this set of nonsense? No. My mother taught us, you know, to be with your siblings, be
Right.
around them, let them be your best friends, and
Right.
that's it. That's why we're so close today. But coming back to your point is, this is how I grow. I never see my mom and dad argue or really fight.
which I think is important.
And I'm 52. I'm not saying they never had fights and stuff. Maybe when I was younger, things that I don't know. Maybe the bigger ones might have seen some. I don't know. I'm telling you about me, what I have seen. I've seen my mom and dad grow up together, and you know, until he died, that's who I knew for 42 years, right?
That's great.
But and my mother is a humble woman,
Right.
a submissive woman, which I'm the opposite to her. I'm not submissive and I'm not listening, if you
Right.
understand. I'm more boisterous. I voice my opinion. My mother,
Are you humble?
to a point, but to a point.
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
Okay.
to a point. You know, and I could be. But again,
You have to
every
feel that.
action is a
Right.
reaction.
You'll be humble if you feel the person
Yes.
is deserving of humility.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah,
if
got
I
that.
feel that person is not, or you know, my peace is being jeopardized, you gotta go.
Got you.
Because I don't think, especially now
So you
with
have
life.
self-preservation.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes, I have self-preservation, and I watch and I analyze things before I take a step.
Right.
You know, and that is my whole life journey. Even with people, I give them the benefit of the doubt first. But if you cross me, that trust
Already.
is broken.
And
You
that's
can't pick it up.
Okay.
I will talk to you, though, but we ain't going to be
You're not
close
gonna be
like
close. I
no.
got you.
I ain't
So
going to
you
pick you up
love
and
them
drop
from
you
afar.
nowhere, and we're not hanging and all this kind of thing. No. Hi, how you doing? Everything good? Bye. And I keep it moving. That's me. That's how I just operate with people.
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm learning a lot from you. That's nice.
Yeah. You
Okay.
know, you have to.
Okay.
June is saying, if they only talking and I can't talk, okay. Philo is a real, as real can get. My friend telling you that.
Thank you.
Hello, nice topic. Nicole say, I hold on to anger, depending on the situation. Nicole, you got to get that thinking out, because when you're a Christian person, you cannot have that kind of temperament.
It
If you want
festers.
to be praying for people, if you want to be walking the Christian walk, you know, you just ask God to renew your mind, because we all fall short of the glory of the Lord, right?
Amen.
Agreed 100. Okay, cuss up the mother slippers. That's a good one. Cuss up the mother slippers. A spade is a spade. I like that saying.
Yeah, that's called
True, liar got no memory. You're right about that.
Right.
Listening is a master key. I don't always say, but if you keep it too long, it festers. That's where you end up flying off a handle. Yeah, not me. Hi everyone. Hi Terian. Unbothered by the bitches in that room, fellow. For real. You know, I don't hold anger. I just won't bother with you anymore. Me too.
Okay.
You know, I think when you reach a certain age,
Right.
a lot of things doesn't matter in your life. You know, and you don't. That's why they say, don't sweat the small stuff.
Right.
People dying each day.
That's
and
true.
how I look at it, Philia,
Right.
and I carry this through my life. There's people who cannot walk, cannot talk, can't see, can't
Right.
hear,
Right.
dragging on the floor, wheelchair, and we are blessed and highly favored. So
Right.
I try not to let these
Those things
things bother me.
Got you.
You understand? And that is what this keep me sane.
Okay.
And I thank God for His mercy, because I thank God every day I don't have a spirit of anger and jealousy either in my being.
Right.
I happy for everybody. You climbing up the ladder, I happy for you. You having something, I supporting you. That is how I know it.
That's
You
beautiful.
know, and that's why I have salvation. I have
Right.
peace. I go to bed
Very
good. I can get
Correct.
8 hours. I could come home, take a nap. I don't worry about what people do, what people
Right.
say. Yesterday's gone, today's here. I can't look. I
Back.
tell you, that's why we have a little rearview mirror.
Yes.
Snapshots.
Shots. Yes, I love that.
Okay?
I love that theory.
So,
Okay.
you know? All right. 4. So we reach, let the storm pass.
That.
Be specific about what you
We
need.
talked about that. That's good.
Agree on a plan.
Yes.
Right? And recognize your partner's effort. You want me to read that part?
Yes, so I wanted to say, just hearing the titles, it makes me know that I've really grown, because I've always taken pride in being a good girl. I don't cheat, I'm faithful, I'm loyal to a fault. But now that I'm with a new partner, he calls me out on a lot of stuff, and I'm like that? And he's like, yeah, you always think you right. You always think you this. You talk over people. You think you talk faster. You think if you talk louder, that makes you right. And it's like, have I always been this way? Because no one ever told me these things about myself, right? So it's like, first of all, the truth always hurts. Yeah. And I had to learn to accept, like,
I'm sorry, were you hurt a lot?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? Like, none of these men told me about myself. Maybe that's why they cheated. I started saying, maybe I'm the problem, you know? But it's like, I wouldn't change it for the world, because it's real.
Yes.
And it makes me self-reflect now, and it makes me make a concerted effort. Like, one thing I always do, I always interrupt. I always don't let the person finish. I finish sentences. I did, and it's like, let me speak. God damn it, let me speak. And it's like, you know what? This is a good dude. Let him speak. You know? I don't think I've ever respected that, because the others used to complain about it. I was like, ah, screw you, whatever. I'm going to say what I got to say, because you're a cheater, and I don't care, and I don't owe you to stop speaking. But that's not a reason not to do it.
Right. But at least he make you look in the mirror.
He makes me understand. So now, it's like, you notice that I don't interrupt you anymore? He say, yeah, I noticed. I said, so why didn't you tell me that I'm doing a good job? You know? Like a little kid, I need reconfirmation, you know?
Right. But because
it's
sometimes
showing,
when you're doing something, you don't realize it. Right? Sometimes you don't realize it with people or your family or different things. No, my family will tell you, my mouth, I have no cover for it. Meaning, how I see it is so I say it. And that is it.
Right.
Like me, I come like my father. Who like me, like me. Who hate me, hate me. That is the attitude I have.
Okay.
Now, what make me meek and humble is my son. He brings me down to earth. And I will tell you why. When he went into the Navy, he suffered mental illness. And, you know, when he came out, I didn't know, being a parent from Trinidad, we never really had no mental illness.
Right. Or if we did, we didn't
it.
recognize it. We said, you crazy, you better get your ass together.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, thing.
Right.
So I would say, pray, you know, God is this, that, the other, that. And he was like, one day, Ma, I'm hearing voices. Ma. And, you know, tears start to run down my eyes, because I say, you know what? I don't know what he's feeling. I don't know these things, what he's telling me. And from that day on, I said, Phyllis, to myself, because I speak to myself a lot, you know, come down from there. Meaning,
yes,
come down
to the level.
Come down. And he had taught me now to listen more, be attentive, and I deal with him differently. Now, we don't argue, we don't talk loud to one another. We never had that with us. Now I listen, and we have conversations. And that's how now I realize with my relationships, I try to do it.
Okay.
You know? So that brings me down a notch. It brings me down a notch. Because sometimes I don't even want to hear you. Yeah.
Right.
You understand?
You've already made up your mind about what is right.
But now I just get a little lower. That didn't say that I have a mouth, you know. Correct. That means that I just choose to listen. You choose. And then when I'm ready to speak, I would speak and voice my opinion. And there is things that I know that I have never said, you know, and I will just watch people now. I watch and I listen.
That's so interesting. Wow.
Wow. Yeah. So that was a learning experience.
That's good. And thank you for sharing such a personal testimony. That's
beautiful. You know, we keep it real here on Motivational Monday.
We do. I like that.
So what's the second part now?
Okay. So I think our second one, is it the second question?
Yeah, the second question.
Second question is...
hold on, I have it right
something
here.
About the family members?
Okay. So number 2 now. So number 1 was how can we communicate without cursing. So when you want to curse out somebody, just say, como se llamo.
Yes, I love it.
Or close the front door.
Or sugar, honey, iced tea.
Okay, number 2. Are you real with yourself or do you put up a front?
Okay. I'm definitely real. I mean, what you see is what you get.
But have you ever fake it to people sometime? No. Like, okay, to us, I know you. Let me
Right.
say for your school friends.
Correct,
So
right.
it's okay, your
Or
work
work friends.
environment.
Right, right.
Are you real with them, or do you put up this front? Okay, like you had a perfect marriage,
Right.
or you was married at the time,
Right,
but
right.
knowing that you wasn't married, but you had a husband.
So,
like in that situation.
Okay, so there
Right.
was a front with
Right,
that.
right.
Yes, there was a front of that, because for me it was more embarrassment.
Right.
Because I felt like I was married before for 20 years, and then my next relationship, I lived with a man for 13 years.
Right.
And I didn't like that in myself, and I didn't feel like I could really force the person to do differently.
Right.
But yet still I accepted the person.
Right. So you're putting up a front.
So I was putting up the front, like I was married to him, and
Right.
our life was this, and it was in shambles, like
Right.
completely in shams. And then when I finally
The shame and
yes.
the guilt had
Right.
you
it
putting
was
up
just
a
too much.
front.
And then I finally admitted it on my podcast with Treading Faith.
Yeah.
People were like, I didn't know you weren't married. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not married. But you got this ring. I was like, yeah, it's a dumb ring. It's real. The ring is real. In fact, it was my daughter that called me out. She was like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
She's like, so you wear a ring and you're not married? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought the stupid ring, but we're
Yeah.
not married. So why would he do that for? And I'm like, oh my God. You know, I don't know. Maybe because I always talk about marriage. I don't know. But that was the realness of it. It was like my little 7-year-old was calling me out
yeah.
on the BS.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if she could do it, I might as well tell the world. But
real to yourself.
it felt freeing.
So it
because
felt
it was
free
like
after.
Yes, it was like, okay, all the judgments, if you have judgments, if you wondered, everybody's like, what? Even my cousins, what? I didn't know you weren't married. Yeah, I'm not married, man. So you would never, no, we would never. Now I'm annoyed. Stop asking me. I wasn't married, you know.
Right.
But you were married to the first one. Yes, you attended the wedding. Yes.
Right.
This one, no, there was no wedding. Like,
So,
you know?
so you're saying the shame
Right.
and the guilt is have people
Right.
not keeping it real
Correct.
with people.
I agree. At least in my case, this is what I did.
Right.
And then now it's like,
Now we're free. Now I keep it 100.
yes.
I don't know fakeness.
Right.
Right? I know I am not going to buy a Louis Vuitton bag for $2,000 and $3,000 and I'm renting.
Okay.
I am not going to buy a BMW to park in the street and they're hitting me in the front and in the back and
Right.
I'm renting.
Right.
So I am not hanging my hand where it could never reach.
Okay.
So I always live within my means, within my humble means. And I think what keeps me grounded is my humble beginnings. I grew
Okay.
up with a big family. We used to play. We used to run in the rain, climb go over a tree.
Did you have to share stuff? Share
Yes,
clothes?
we used to have share. You used to have to share stuff. I used
Okay.
to borrow my sister clothes. You know, I play with my brother. Them. I was like a little tomboy because I was the last girl, and it had 3 more boys after me. So you know, I grew up tough. I grew up with the standpipe. You know, we bathing by the standpipe, and that keeps me grounded today in my life.
Gotcha.
I study the humbleness that I came from. I study me going to school, walking every day. I never had a car to take me to school like some people. You understand? My mother may not have given me money every day to buy lunch. You know, I might have a bake or whatever she prepared for us.
Right.
And that's why they say I don't like same thing. We used to be like the same thing again, same thing is lentil beans.
Yes,
We used to
yes.
say the same thing again, so we
Right.
call that pay. So certain things I don't like. I don't like soup with dumplings in it
Right.
because my mother cooked that. I don't like rice porridge. My mother used to cook that. Certain
Gotcha.
things I don't eat. It's not that I'm playing anything. It's just not
Yeah.
for me.
This is it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I keep it 100 with everybody.
Got you.
know, and that's how I think people are supposed to be. But
Yeah, I
a lot
agree.
of people have a lot of shame.
I think shame
and-
makes
and
people
lie.
Yeah. And
Shame
also,
makes people put up a front
Correct.
and don't keep it real.
and also being afraid to be judged.
Yes.
You know, I think if you care less about that, there's no reason to hide and there's no reason to lie about anything. You know?
Yes. Donado is saying kudos to you for real self-reflecting and adjusting. Some parents stick to that full Caribbean mentality. Carrie is saying too much work to put up a front. Same Carrie from day one. And Donado is saying we sometimes find comfort in the shame due to fear. Right. But I just say fear is a snare. Because you know what? Nobody don't know your journey. Nobody
Correct.
don't know your story. So
Right.
if you making it, I always happy for the person who have the home or who could afford a car or
Right.
who get a promotion. Some people just can't be happy for others.
Right.
You understand?
You know, it's funny because in Treading Faith we say fear is false evidence appearing real.
Oh gosh,
Right?
that is a good one.
And
there.
it's such a good one. So false
I think you
evidence
need to type that here.
false evidence appearing real is what fear is. So when we fear things, you know, fear is not a fruit of God, right? God does not exist in fear. So one thing that you have to realize is that once you have
fear is
that
false evidence
appearing real. And I think that, for me, it was that idea like, oh, you two together to not be married, or you too educated to not
fear is
be.
false evidence appearing real, right?
Yes, that's correct. And for me, because
Yeah,
as I said,
they judge you from
right.
Yeah,
Like what? Like you got this, you got that, and
Right.
you shacking up with some dude, who won't honor you, because then it becomes now, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Not what's wrong with the guy.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
You know, the woman always get blamed.
Right. How could you accept something like that after year one, and it was like, so then it's like he gets the ring. But if you're gonna do all that and get the ring, well, then why you just don't do the marriage, right?
Yeah.
You doing all this extraness, but you're not doing it, and then come to find out he got married to somebody else while we were still together.
Right.
So it was a lot going on for me, but I think even the first time I think the Mexico trip, right?
Right.
That's where we met. We met on the
Milan,
plane.
yeah, going to
Going to Mexico, and it was the Mexico trip that I said, you know what? I am not going to live imprisoned in this deadbeat relationship. It's been dead for a long time,
Right.
but I was holding on to it because...
And I think that's where God put our
us
paths.
right.
Because we came to find out we only live 10 to 15 minutes away
from each other.
And then we started walking.
Yep.
And then you started to get strength. And
Right.
this is a new Philly I'm seeing.
What?
You know?
He used to call, what you doing? Walking. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Fellas. Who's fellas?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, why is he asking all these stupid questions? And
Yeah.
who does he think he is? Girl, keep walking. Don't stop. Don't this. And when you start looking for them,
I say, Philly, come on. When you
going.
start something,
Right. You
it's
gotta
called
continue.
consistency.
Correct.
You gotta continue. And
Correct.
you notice with people, when they want to be narcissistic,
Right.
they have this kind of tendency of trying to
control the
whole situation in
Right.
everything. Like,
Right.
oh, I don't like your friend.
Right.
Who's that Phyllis girl? This,
Right.
that, the other,
Right.
to make you be isolated and you don't have anybody.
Correct.
And that is my point. What I would say is that, you have to free yourself, find yourself. What I've been doing for the last year is searching myself.
That's good.
Searching me, doing what Phyllis wants for Phyllis and not anybody.
Right.
If I don't feel to talk today, I don't feel to talk today. If I feel to talk, I talk. You understand? Yeah, I'm going out, I go out. If I feel to travel, I travel. I am searching me for that inner peace. I have peace, but sometimes you just have to search yourself.
Right.
And ask yourself, why are you doing this?
Gotcha.
Is this beneficial for you? You just have to give yourself self-reflection.
Right.
Why are you in this bad relationship?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Is this making sense? You're in it 10 years. Is it making sense?
Right.
There is no growth on either part.
Right.
This is not what I want anymore.
Correct.
You understand?
Yes.
I want to just be free
Right.
and search Phyllis and do what Phyllis wants.
Right.
But I will tell you one thing I'm not going to do in my life again. I'm not going to be a girlfriend and give wifely duties no more.
I got you. Right. Girlfriend,
You understand?
wife,
I'm not going to do nothing like that.
Right.
I just want to live my life to suit me.
Right.
You want to go on the ride? You're on the ride. If you don't want to, that's it.
Off. Right.
You understand? But
Right.
I think I reach a point in my life where keeping it real 100, I keep it real and I
Right.
keep it moving.
Right. Good for
That's
you.
what I see.
I love that.
All right.
That's awesome. Great. Okay.
So we say, what does it mean to be real anyway? Perhaps it seems like it shouldn't be that complicated. Being real means be you. Simply right. I mean, who else are you going to be?
Right.
And yet simply does not always mean easy. Or
no.
everyone will do it by default. Right? It can be challenging to be real, not only because it often takes courage. You don't want your trust self to be rejected, but because it's easy to confuse authenticity with a million other things. Some people think being real means having no filters or no boundaries. Some think it's an excuse to never change. Others think it means expressing even though or feeling you have no. Being real, being honest with yourself, acting accordingly to your values, and being your full self to every interaction. And because of this, being real looks different for everyone. Sometimes wildly. As crazy as it sounds, if you use others as an example, you might find yourself trying to be real in a way that doesn't fit your personality or values. So we ain't saying don't fake it.
Right.
Just be yourself.
Right.
I see this frequently, especially in presentation skills coaching. Clients often so caught up in doing things right that they completely lose themselves in the process. That's fine when you're first starting out with a new speech or presentation. Sometimes you work so hard on the content or skills that you do lose yourself in the process. Eventually, though, I tell them, I need more of you in this presentation. And that's when things get interesting. People have all sorts of preconceived notions about how being yourself looks like in the front of a group.
Right.
And often those notions are at odds with their own personal skills. Hint, you in front of a group is the same as you by yourself. It's just a bigger presence.
That's true.
You don't have to be something you are not good or right. Your presentation or greeting a client, communication or written skills may be totally different from someone else. This illustrates this point. Let me invite you into my living room virtually. Please don't show up at the door. Here I have a shelf full of beautiful gifts and souvenirs from around the world. Two of my favorites are as different from each other that can be. One is a glass alto vase my friend Sabrina bought in from Finland, and the other is a hand-painted set of nesting dolls my mom bought in Prague. The alto vase is very like the friend who gave it to me. Brilliant and its clarity and openness. The glass curved beautifully and created ever-changing shape and perspective as you turn it. You can see the right though. It's simply clean lines. There's no hiding with going inside. Like my friend who is straightforward and direct. This transparent verse is an exquisite piece of artwork.
Right.
So, you know, you don't have to be what, you know, you don't want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Right. Don't be pretentious. Don't try to think so much about the presentation. Bring yourself in the presentation and it becomes more real and more interesting. So
you want to talk about vulnerability a little bit?
So vulnerability, are you putting on a front? Always. Okay, so I always put on a front. I know I'm doing it. I just wish I had the confidence to remove it, but I'm scared what others will think. To be me is so vulnerable. And that's what we talked about with fear. False evidence appearing real. So why are we so scared to display our vulnerabilities? Vulnerability. It is just a basic survival of the self. We don't want to appear weak, lacking strength, or unable to manage. Is it all our conditioning? Even in this day and age, we hear messages given to children such as boys don't cry, or that girls, for you're so overly emotional. Do we learn that people pleasing as children? Are we taught how to cover up as we grow up? Would it be a good time to remind ourselves that all of us have felt vulnerable at some point in life? Yes. Even those who appear extremely confident on the outside may have periods of self-doubt, questions, abilities, scared about exposing themselves every now and then. When you are masking yourself, it is highly probable that others are doing exactly the same. So the first steps to removing the front, I believe, is acceptance. Acceptance that you're only human and that at times you may need to call upon the help and support from others. That self-disclosure of vulnerabilities to others is not weakness. That showing emotion and admitting your failings and shortcomings is powerful in itself. Now, what would the world be like if we drop the mask and expose the real us? Do we need to wear some of a mask in order to protect ourselves and keep us safe? Should we keep parts of us hidden? Maybe it's one of the diseases of self-help and personal development. Have we swung too far? What do you think? I like that. That's really important.
I think so. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, when they show themselves, people might judge them. The judgment is the judgment, the shame, the resentment.
Correct.
My thing is, I think that's you're taking off your mask. A lot of people don't like to take off the mask.
Correct.
Right? They don't want to take off the eyelashes in front of you. They don't want to take off the eyebrow. You know? They don't want to take off that hair. You understand? So they pretend that they are something that they are not. And they just cannot help themselves. You understand? But we saying, be real. They don't have anything to be ashamed of. Carrie is saying some people want you to think that they have so much and they have nothing. That is a true saying.
That is true.
Nancy saying, no front for me. Professional when needed, party animal when needed.
Right.
Self-esteem is a strong point of being yourself. We all have weaknesses and strength, but if you are around people that focus, not of us, none of us are perfect, and it's true.
Very true.
You understand? And sometimes people find like I keep it too real. And
Yeah,
people
they have a
like they
problem with
want to
that.
change you.
Right.
I'm not changing for anybody.
Correct.
I am me. What you see is what you
That's
get.
what you get.
You understand?
Wow.
And I cannot pretend that I can't even fake.
Right.
You understand? It's just
Now-
not in me.
Question: would faking still be someone who's being politically correct? Maybe not saying things too harshly, but still telling you the truth. You still consider that being fake? Because that would be me. I'll still tell you. I just won't say it harshly because I know I'm sensitive.
Right.
So I make sure that if I'm talking to people, I'm talking to them in the way I want to be told.
Right. But I don't mind constructive criticism.
Fine.
Because we all have to grow.
Okay.
As I said before, we all fall short of the glory of the Lord. None of us is perfect. All of us have some kind of fault. All right? We all made in His image and
Image, right.
likeness.
Correct.
Right? You don't like yourself and you want to get bigger boobs, bigger butt, big this, big that,
Not the
long
bigger
hair,
butt.
whatever.
But the bigger boobs. So I can do this without doing this.
Right? Some people look for self-gratification.
Right.
They think they could, because everybody's a trend now. You have a tattoo, I have to get a tattoo.
Right.
You know, and things
Right.
like that.
Right.
You just be yourself.
Right.
Men like natural women
That's
anyway.
true.
At the end of the day, when you go to bed at night, and the wig still have to come off and you're in your stocking cap.
Actually, mine stay on, but it's okay. I treat it like it's mine. Like, you don't take that thing off, though. Not until it's time to get a new one. I'm always on Amazon. It's so weird. People are like, you don't take that thing off, no. You don't, though. It's mine. It's coming out of my scalp.
Well, you
But
keep
know,
it.
I'm
You
keeping
keep it.
That is keeping it real. However,
Yes.
to be fair, you know, I've proudly worn my finger waves. I really, you know, I love my short look.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I love the long, curly, you know,
Yeah.
imaginative stuff. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to give you what you want. But at the end of the day, yeah, you see how I look. You know how I look.
Nancy is saying not faking it, but there is a time and place for things. The
Correct.
Nana is saying not me gluing. She are gluing. Monita is saying ha ha ha. So true, Phil. Katrina saying boom. Some people, let me tell you, that's why they say a man is not really what he getting these days, eh?
Right.
Because the package looking good, but when that package unwrapped, it's something totally different. And that's why they say, these girls who just be doing all the butt
Right.
breast thing,
Right.
half of them single and lonely. And you will watch a nice
God, I
looking
can't.
man, right? And
can't.
what at his side a jacked up girl. And you want to know she's missing something, but the ones who doing all this
Right.
thing to the body,
Right.
they're still single.
Yeah,
they
you're
ain't got nobody.
You're right. No, you're right.
They're lonely. So
I have
they
a lot
have
of
to try.
payment plans.
Yeah. To try to look good. Men not looking at that.
Right.
Men like
They want the natural.
simplicity.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
true.
always look for the opposite.
That's
no
true.
man and want no woman to show out the body like that.
Right, the belly
No,
there.
the breast always out, the butt out, your
Right.
cheekbone out. Who
Right.
man want to take that home to mama?
Right, that's true.
No good man.
No.
They watch it. You're
Right.
sure? You're sure they watch it?
Right.
But
no, you're right.
again, the package.
Yeah.
There is advertised false packaging for these guys.
False evidence appearing real. No, it's
guys,
funny.
we
It's
keep
the
it in.
truth,
We
though.
keep
It's
it
the truth.
It's a surprise package. Laughing my ass off. Nancy saying leave something to the imagination.
imagination,
Nancy
yes.
did not, you know. Yesterday had a bikini party out right here in Guyboro. If you see all them girls butt cheeks. I tell you, half of them who doing the body, half of them single or they with somebody
Right.
property. They don't have
Gotcha.
somebody. They're still lying down home at night lonely.
Got you.
You
Yes.
understand?
I got
So
you.
what are you really doing?
Right.
When will you grow up? I just say sometimes people need to grow up.
Right.
And then again, is a circle, eh? It's
Okay,
your
the
circle.
That's true.
It's a circle.
100%.
When you have friends that don't compete with one another,
Yes,
it's
you
a
don't-
circle.
yes,
People
right.
looking to grind, work hard,
Right.
pay, travel.
Surround yourself
Yes.
with the
You
people
understand?
you emulate or you want to be closely like.
Right.
I agree with you.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That is so
That was
hilarious.
that was
good.
that was good. All right. So the last one is:
Uh-huh.
do you settle with your family and friends' behavior, or do you call them out on it? I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I call my family out.
You do.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that that's what you do.
I think what I like for myself, I would like it for others. So if I see something wrong, I would let them know. Or I would just stay away and avoid them.
Okay.
You understand? Because sometimes you can't tell big people certain things.
Correct. They're grown.
Right? They're grown, and sometimes they don't want to be around the mess.
Right.
So
So you
I
become
just
indifferent.
yeah, I
which
just
is
I
why
just
you
that's why I live
scoop
in
over.
Queens. That's why I live in Queens and my family live in Brooklyn.
Got you. No, I
You
get
understand?
that. I
Because
get that.
I just keep away.
Keep away. I think for me, you can't help who your family is, right? So I think I become indifferent if I really can't deal with them. And I'm more of a loner anyway. Like, I have a lot of people around me, but I really
So would you call out your sister?
you know what? I think I was just taught that it would be disrespectful to tell that
With
to
your
someone
culture.
over my culture. So I think for me, I just stay away. That's just easier because if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But I'm not a calling out kind of person in general. That's why when Quan calls me out on it, I'd be shocked. Like, it shakes my world. I'm not used to that, but I appreciate it. And I think I'm getting better at it. Let me put it that way. It's not like I don't do it. It's just that I'm now learning that it's okay. It comes from a good place. And as long as when you're doing it, you're being constructive about it, it's okay.
Right. But do you think, even like me, would you call me out on something you see if I go left with?
Yeah, I would. Because
I would like
think
your
a true
honest
friend,
opinion.
Yeah, I think because that's what a true friendship is.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when it comes to, and I was actually having this conversation, why partners tend to lie to each other is because I don't think those partners are actual friends.
Right.
I think that you could still be lovers, but if you can learn to also be friends, because when you're not afraid to talk to your friends.
Right.
Why should you be afraid to talk to your lover or your partner, right?
Because sometimes they
So I
don't
think
take
it's
it.
a-
They don't take it good.
They don't take it well, but
No.
that's why I think if you have a real genuine friendship also, I think you'll know, okay, this is my friend talking to me. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And I think it's hard to mix the two, but I think you can get there if you learn
So you
to.
believe in calling out people.
I do believe
Friends
that you
and
should.
family.
Friends and family, you have to. Yeah.
Catherine is saying we have to know our true value as women. Love ourselves the way God created us, how He wants us. I'm not putting no belly fat in my bottom. No. Nancy is saying based on the issues, family, yes. But if I have to proceed with caution, friends, you must be upfront and agree to disagree. But remember, we all have feeling and must know how to approach the issue.
Right.
Catherine is saying it depends on what you are calling them out about. People are so sensitive. Nicole is saying some people are not mature enough, so they
To hear the
don't
truth.
react well
Right.
when they get called out.
Correct.
And I believe so, because I believe you can't be preaching gospel every day to me, and then you
not.
ain't talking to me when you see me.
Got you.
You're contradicting yourself.
I agree.
You're fooling yourself.
That's a call out.
You're fooling yourself, but
And your
God
people.
watching you.
Correct. Right.
You understand?
I
So
agree.
I believe in calling people out. Hey, Philia, you know
Walk
what?
your talk, talk
Yeah,
your walk. That's all.
Philia, you did,
So
and
so.
what you did I didn't like.
Right.
And you have my number. If you have a problem, call up me
Right,
and we can
instead
talk
of-
about it.
Right.
You understand
Talking
what I'm
about
saying?
name to So and so.
Right. Now, we have some people you can't talk to.
Right.
They get offensive and they put up this wall.
Correct.
Then them is the people that you
just stay
keep away from them.
Correct. I agree with you.
You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I believe if you love somebody,
You should talk to them.
yeah, because after the show, Anthony just call me out and say, okay, fellas,
All the time.
you shouldn't do this, that,
Right.
whatever.
This was horrible.
Yeah. He
This
will
was
give
good.
me constructive criticism
Yes.
every night
real
after
friend.
motivational
Right.
for the 2 years that I'm doing it. And I look forward for the call and I
Right.
look forward.
Because
Yes,
that's how you
it cringed
improve.
me at times, but
Right.
I have bucked up a lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He's made you stronger.
But he makes me stronger and he will tell me, okay,
truth.
the truth. And I'll be like, okay, that's how you feel? Yeah, he say yes, okay, well, you did, I don't think this. I say, well, okay, all right, no problem. You know, and next, I'll try to proceed with caution, but sometimes I can't proceed with caution, depends on the topic or whatever the case may be.
Correct, I agree.
But I appreciate him.
That's good.
For always keeping me in line or keeping us, because he will tell me what we do wrong.
So he was always eating.
Yeah, right? Right? But that's a true friend, and he cares.
Right.
So, Joseph,
thank you.
Yeah, good looking out there.
Thanks, TJ.
Yeah. So, you know, we are saying that I think you should call out people. Like, one of my friends on my job did something wrong and I didn't like it, and I didn't see her until today. And I called her out.
Okay.
And I said, you have my phone number. If I miss something, call me.
Okay.
Don't try to throw me under the bus.
Right.
You know, I said, I didn't like that. It didn't feel good. You understand what I mean?
Good.
And she said, okay. And she said, how? I hung up. I say, I'm 52. I don't keep people in mind. I don't have time to study you tomorrow.
That's
if you
true.
understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
But I just tell people about the self, and I done it.
Okay.
You don't want to talk to me tomorrow? Take it to the Lord in prayer.
Gotcha.
That's it.
I love that.
I don't go to bed on
Unhappy
vexation and things.
right.
You have built up resentment about me. Oh, well,
Right.
you get over. That's another day. Right, Philia?
Ignore. That's the first thing you taught me.
Yeah. Ignore.
No.
Yes.
With the 2 syllables strong. I was like, it's so hard. I have to keep picking up ignore. And then I started ignoring. And it got better.
And it get better.
It literally got better.
Yeah, because sometimes when you see something like, okay, don't
Right.
put this glass there. You know
Right.
you don't like this. You brush your teeth, you wet up all these things. Wipe it down.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
How much time you say, leave it dirty.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Or call them out. I don't want no glass in my sink.
Period.
You know why I like period? I don't want it. If you want paper plates, paper cup, you have options.
Right.
You don't want to do dishes, you have options.
Right.
You understand? But keep my place clean.
That's it. Because I keep it clean, you must follow suit. I
Right.
got you. No,
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Great topic.
So, guys, we give
Man,
you all
we hot tonight.
We give you all a lot. We go on over
Yes.
9, but that's fine.
Yes.
You wanna just read a little about toxic? You could just
Toxic.
read out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the coexisting with toxic.
Yeah.
So coexisting with toxics mean going around them to set your own rules, then accepting that you don't need them to respect those rules to claim your power. Here are some powerful, practical ways to do that. Be empowered by your motives. Understand why they're seeing what they see in you. They might get worse before they leave you alone. Be clear about your boundaries. Very important. You can't please everyone, but toxic people will have you believing that you can't please anyone. So you try harder, work harder, compromise more. You don't have to help them through every single crisis. You don't need to explain yourself.
Right.
Don't judge. Own your own strengths and your own weaknesses, and don't expect change. Those are really important.
Yes.
Okay. Choose your battles wisely. Don't play victim. Focus on the solution rather than the problem. Surround yourself with people who will give you as much as you do. That's really important.
Right.
Forgive, but don't forget.
Right.
And understand the cycle. You don't need their approval, because in the end, you really don't.
Exactly.
I love this.
And I want to say, when to cut ties with family members. This is important, right?
Very important.
At what point is dysfunctional family relationship no longer worth saving? That may depend on different factors.
Okay.
What's the potential for change? The other person must be willing to acknowledge the problem and work to change. Some people don't want to change. I would say that again. Some people don't want to change, especially when they cross 50, 60, 65, 70 and going on. Right. They don't want to change. And you can't control their behaviors.
Right.
You can't. If you are dealing with a narcissistic family member, their inflated self-image, lack of empathy, and manipulative ways can hinder any meaningful progress. How severe is the conflict? In case of abuse, it's usually advisable to cut ties with the family member. Remember that abuse doesn't necessarily have to be physical. People who subject you to verbal, emotional, or psychological abuse can also harm your sense of well-being.
Amen. Yes.
This could include a father-in-law who aims to humiliate you to your sibling, or who use guilt tripping to manipulate you.
Wow.
Dealing with doubts. Cutting ties means ending contract with the difficult family member, which is not always easy. You might repeatedly question your direct decision, or have a hard time accepting that the relationship is unsalvageable.
Right.
Keep a list of specific reasons why you decided to end that contract. Did the person cross your boundaries too many times? Did the stress of your interaction negatively affect others' area of your life? Write it down so you will never forget. How to deal with the grief of ending a relationship. Depending on how close you were with the family member, you may need to take time to grieve the loss of the relationship. Rather than suppress your feelings, identify and acknowledge them. It's normal to experience anything from anger to sadness to guilt following the end of the relationship. You should also expect grief to intensify on days that reminds you of the family member, such as birthdays, holidays. All right, so guys, you know what time it is when you're ready to
cut those ties if need be.
Yeah, and Nancy saying yes, solution. We know the problem. Anthony saying verbal abuse is the worst.
It's the worst, yes. Words hurt you.
Words hurt you.
Yes.
And I would say life is too short. If you know right now you are someone who we're speaking to that have some kind of ill feelings towards a family member, just mend it. Call them, apologize, be the bigger person.
Right.
Sometimes we have to be the bigger person and say, I'm sorry, or you did this to me and I didn't like it, and water under the bridge. If it's
get a mediator if you feel like you can't talk to that person because of their attitude towards you, or because you're still afraid to confront the person.
Yes, and I know we are all growing. Myself, I can say one of my niece violated me very bad the other day, and I cut her off.
Right.
I don't want no dealings, nothing with her for her disrespectfulness towards me. Correct. So we all have one in our family.
You need to know when to call it quits.
And I call it quits because I had enough.
Right.
I give her enough chances.
Correct.
And I just decide not to. So I'm not perfect either. We all are learning, growing.
Right.
You understand? And just be real about it.
Okay.
All right.
So,
we have a project coming up, guys. Wendy, I don't know if you're still on. I'd like your help. All right. I'm looking. We have, my brain's always working. Okay. So we had one of our crew members who had battled cancer and had double vasectomy. So in aid of Cancer Month, October, the 28th, we are going to have Rip the Runway for Cure. Pretty in Pink. All right. So we're going to have this event October the 28th, God's willing. It's a charitable event. We're looking for sponsors. We want to have a fashion show where all the survivors could come out and model, and we're looking to have either a pianist or a violin or pan or something. If you know anybody, it's a charitable event, please help me out. We're going to start with $50 to enter. Cocktail and finger foods will be included. And the money, what we decided is that it's going to go towards 3 countries. Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Guyana. Because we think America have a lot going on and a lot of charitable things. So we're looking for a representative from Jamaica, a representative from Trinidad and one from Guyana. So the monies could go towards organization dealing with cancer. And we have all different type of cancer. So it's not only one cancer we're doing, but just
the cancer in general.
In general. So that's a fundraising we're going to do. So please, anybody willing to come in with us, let us know, inbox us. I come up with the thought today and then bring it to the team. And the girls love it.
We love it.
So, You know, again, it's going to be runway.
Rip the runway.
Rip the runway for, of course,
child.
pretty in
I want a
pink.
model. So.
And guys, we need some guys to model. So,
Yes.
Jason, please, I have you on my list, Jason. Joseph, if you're out there, get your pink. Okay?
Yeah. That's
So,
gonna be nice.
save the date.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
And
God
also,
bless.
barbecue blessing, 26th of August,
When is
$50.
When is this lady's thing?
This
Sunday
is
coming?
no,
That's different.
This is
Okay.
my barbecue blessing.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God! All these events, I'm getting
I know,
nervous.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes.
barbecue blessing, my
Coming
19 years of keeping this barbecue is $50. Walk with a butter, food and snack will be for you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Again, brunching around the world. Please support Donada this Sunday in Queens and Albans.
Yeah.
It's $65. She put a code there for you guys. You can get it
Yeah.
instead of paying $80.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like a
Again,
plan.
each one teach one. These were great topics.
I love them.
Thank you very much for the person who sent me them that wanted us to discuss
To
it
discuss
tonight.
it,
And we
yes.
have a part 2 because we have other things.
We have other ones,
We
so
couldn't
we're covering
do
everything.
So again, if you want to hear about a topic, let
Yes.
us know.
Okay.
Nancy, don't forget we have a date. Let me know when you're ready to come on, please. We need to speak about menopause because it's affecting a lot of people, especially those in the 50s right now.
Child, my app be blowing up.
All right,
Well,
guys.
we
So
love you guys.
have a blessed and wonderful night,
Yes.
guys. Love in the house,
Love
and see
you.
you guys next week. God's willing.
Ooh, look at the colors.
Yeah, I know, right? Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.